Okay, so welcome everyone to our second workshop as part of our new campaign, Cancer Cora. So Cancer Cora is our cancer campaign supported by Macmillan that started back in January. And our plan throughout the year is to hold a number of online workshops. Some will focus on a certain type of cancer and others will focus on supports. So this is our first workshop where we are focusing on a support. My name is Ellen Gavin and I am the Health and Wellbeing Development Officer at Irish in Britain, and I am leading our Cancer Cora campaign. So just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. The cameras are on for myself and Paula, but as attendees you are automatically muted and your cameras are off. We will be holding a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, so please put your questions in the chat box and I will keep an eye on them throughout the session. If you are not familiar with Zoom, you just hover your mouse over the bottom, under the bottom of your screen, apologies, and a bunch of icons will pop up. And just click on the one that says chat and you can pop your questions in there and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. Also, if your slides are covered, on the top right-hand side of your screen, you can hover and change the viewing options where you can change where the speaker's viewing are. So our agenda for the day, we will be starting with a video where we will welcome, it's called Welcome to Cancer Care Map, so it'll introduce the online resource. We will then have a presentation from Cancer Care Map, followed by a Q&A session. So without further ado, I will pass you over to Robin Pritchard and Paula Hargadon, co-directors at Cancer Care Map, to introduce themselves before we play the video for you. So Robin and Paula, you are very welcome and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for having us and thank you for joining us for this session. So yes, we're here to tell you about Cancer Care Map, an online resource that signposts cancer support services right across the UK. And to start off with, we want to show you a short film that just very clearly, sort of and quickly, simply illustrates what Cancer Care Map is and how it can possibly help you.
Cancer Care Map is a free-to-use online directory of cancer support services in the UK, providing you with trusted information that's regularly checked and updated by our team. It's so easy to use. Simply type in your postcode or place name to find out what's available near you. You'll find everything from local hospitals and NHS services to charities and organisations offering practical and emotional support that you might not even know were there. You can widen or narrow your search by area, or add keywords to help if you're looking for something specific. You'll find information on support for families, loved ones, and carers, as well as those living with cancer themselves. You can also include national organisations in your search, ensuring you'll always find support, no matter where you are. Organisations like Maggie's, offering support, advice, groups and classes in their beautiful centres all across the country. Or the Sunflowers Centre in Liverpool, who run counselling, complementary therapies, exercise classes, support groups and art and craft therapies. And charities like the Cinnamon Trust, who have a network of volunteers and pet foster carers if you find yourself in need of help with your cat or dog. There's also a blog page that throws the spotlight on different regions around the UK and brings together useful information on specific types of cancer or types of support. There are thousands of national and regional support organisations listed on Cancer Care Map, providing psychological and emotional support, health and wellbeing services, and practical help wherever you are in the UK, whenever you need it the most. Put in your postcode and find out what's there for you.
So hopefully that gave you a bit of a taste for what Cancer Care Map is. So I'm now just going to talk through a brief series of slides to just give you a bit more background about who we are and how we work with Cancer Care Map. So we are the Richard Dimbleby Cancer Fund was set up in 1966, so we've been around for quite a long time. We developed a cancer care map in 2015-2016 after we found that there was no single comprehensive independent standalone directory of cancer support services in the UK, and it came very much from our own personal experience of people approaching us at the charity, knowing that we were working as Dimbleby Cancer Care in London at Guy's Hospital, and coming to us and saying, oh, we know that you're what you're doing in London, but how do I find out about support where I'm based? And so we commissioned some research with Guy's in St Thomas's to look at how people found out about support. After the research, we did some further user groups with both patients, carers and healthcare professionals. And we launched the pilot site for Cancer Care Map in 2018, with the main site going live in 2019. And we launched the brand new site, which you see today, 2 years ago in March 2021. All the information on Cancer Care Map is checked and verified by our team of content editors before being added to the site to ensure that all services are operating within NHS guidelines for patient safety. And that's really important. I think a lot of people, the internet can be quite a scary place, especially if you're coming to cancer for the first time. A lot of the feedback that we got from those initial user group sessions was that people were told not to use Google, to wait until they'd seen their consultant, but equally, you know, that could be days or weeks away, and the temptation is to reach for the internet. So it was really important with Cancer Care Map that we made sure that all the information had been checked, so that you can go to Cancer Care Map and trust that the information in there is correct, and also that all information is then checked and updated every 3 to 4 months, which again is really important for what we do. Next slide, please. The site is aimed at providing information, not just for patients, but also for carers and healthcare professionals who are looking to support signpost services to people. We list all kinds of information and support, including practical, emotional, and health and wellbeing services. We include NHS services, charities, community-based support, and private practice. It's all about offering choice and enabling people to make decisions about their care for themselves. So we can help you connect with third sector support that you might not otherwise be aware of. We work with all the major charities and support organisations across the country, and we're engaged with all the NHS England Cancer Alliances, as well as counterparts in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. We're a really small organisation, and we rely on collaboration to do the work that we do. Next slide. At the moment, we have 3,579 support services, both locally and nationally, listed on Cancer Care Map. We've had over 156,000 visitors to the site in 2022. Last year, we ran some digital marketing campaigns over a sort of 6-7 month period, which saw up to 1,500 people a day using the site. We've recently run a 2-week campaign across social media and Google, and we've seen in the last few days up to just over 2,000 people accessing the site each day, which is really important. And you know, the stat that we know is that 1,000 people in the UK are diagnosed with cancer every day. So it's really important that we get Cancer Care Map out there, that people are aware of it, so that they can find out about the support that they might not even have considered before. We've distributed over 21,000 leaflets since 2021, and back in March 2022, a national media campaign fronted by Jonathan Dimbleby, who's a chair of our charity, and actor Greg Wise on TV and radio, brought in over 18,000 visitors to the site over a 3 to 4 day period. Next slide, please. We carried out some research back in 2022 with YouGov. We found some really sort of interesting statistics, really. Over a third of the people that we surveyed either weren't aware or can't recall being told about additional help available, such as counselling, financial support and transport services. And again, what we know from talking to people is when people are initially diagnosed, they're thinking about their treatment, they're thinking about the medical side of things. What they're maybe not aware of that could be able to help them is all those other things, so the counselling, the financial support, the practical support services that are there. Only half of those surveyed felt that they needed additional support after their diagnosis, were able to access that help when they needed it. And again, it's that people don't really know where to turn sometimes. They're so overwhelmed at the start by their cancer diagnosis and what they're being told and what's happening to them, that they don't take in the information that they're told about the support, which is why it's really important just to remind people regularly that Cancer Care Map is there and they can find support on their doorstep. And a third of those surveyed didn't feel able to talk to their GP about worries and concerns after they'd finished their cancer treatment. And so one of the things we're doing at the moment is trying to work closely with primary care, with GPs, so that they're aware of Cancer Care Map. And so when they've got a patient in front of them, they can maybe look at the kind of support that might be able to help them. Next slide, please. We get a lot of feedback through the social media campaigns that we've done, and there's just a few examples here. One of the key things, when Jonathan was on the television last year, we had a message from someone who'd undergone surgery and treatment for jaw cancer 7 years before, and hadn't, in that time, in those 7 years, hadn't been able to sort of find the support that they were looking for. It was only through seeing Jonathan on the television that morning and taking a look at Cancer Care Map that they suddenly were able to find some support for them. And I think that's really important. It's about empowering people to find the support that they need. One of the things that we are doing more and more with Cancer Care Map behind the scenes and with the people that we work with is to analyze the data, to analyze the sort of the trends that are coming in. So if we go on to the next slide. So this is some of the national trends for what the sort of search terms that people are putting into Cancer Care Map, and breast cancer, health and wellbeing services, lung cancer, prostate cancer are some of the sort of the biggest things that people are often searching for. And so one of the things that we want to do is not just make sure that we're sort of supplying information for those people, but it's looking at those other types of support that people aren't searching for, because it may be that they're just not aware that that support is there. So again, what we try and do with Cancer Care Map is show people the breadth of information that's out there for them. Next slide, please. So working with you, what can we do? We are continuing to grow and develop both Cancer Care Map and the reach of Cancer Care Map. And so we're really keen to understand how we can make more people aware of Cancer Care Map and in turn make them aware that the support services that are out there for them. One of the big things we work on with a lot of the NHS trusts that we work with is understanding the hard to reach in the different regions and how we can reach out to those people who maybe aren't the most likely to try and access support. With support services, we're growing Cancer Care Map all the time. We're adding new services on every week. And so if there are any support services that you're aware of in your area that you think would be useful for us to have on Cancer Care Map that we don't have already, then please get in touch and let us know. We're constantly developing and growing what we've got on Cancer Care Map. But the key thing really is to help make more people aware of Cancer Care Map in the first place. Next slide, please. We've developed Cancer Care Map marketing toolkit. So we've got lots of assets that we can share with you, little graphics and digital leaflets and information to include if you're sort of speaking to patients or to sort of help promote Cancer Care Map around your workplace. So do get in touch and we can share that with you afterwards. And then finally, the last slide, just to give you our contact details. So Paula and I head up the organisation. We work with Lois, who's our content manager, and we're a really small team, and so we're able to be really agile and responsive. So if you've got any thoughts, if you notice something that should be on Cancer Care Map that isn't, please do get in touch, and we'd love to sort of work with you. It's all about collaboration. It's all about joining up the thousands of tiny support services that are out there across the UK and making sure that people who need those services are aware of them. And that's it really. It's very short and sweet, but we'd very much welcome any questions that you might have.
Yes, Robin, thank you very much. I'm keeping an eye on the chat here, so if you have any questions, please do pass them over. But we have a few that came in from registration, Robin. But yeah, I just think it is such an invaluable resource because, as you say, and it really, like, it's really rang truth, was when you said that when you go to those meetings with your GP, it's so overwhelming that you're getting so much information that you can miss these supports being offered or the different things. So to be able to go in on your own time and to type in your postcode and see what's out there is just amazing. And I think as well for our member groups, it could be so useful for their members and service users who have cancer or who've been diagnosed, and to be able to say to them, have you been on Cancer Care Map? And you can see what supports are available to you, just in case you're not aware of them. So yeah, it's just an invaluable resource. So yeah, one of the questions that came in, Robin, was, are the national cancer charities on the website?
Yes, we have all the big players are on there. I say we've got resources, local, because sometimes, especially for sort of the rarer cancers, sometimes it is the national charities that are the ones that can help. So yeah, we list everything from sort of small local community services to the big national charities. And again, you know, we've seen lots of changes over the last 2-3 years as the whole world changed, in terms of the way that the support was offered, virtually and online, chat groups, private Facebook groups where people can connect to get peer support. All those things are there. So yeah, quite often it's not necessarily the stuff that, although we want to let people know that there's stuff on the doorstep, actually there are some fantastic national resources out there that people can access.
Thanks, Robin. Another one was, can this website be accessed on a mobile phone?
Yes, it's mobile friendly. You can also download it there's a little icon in the top menu bar. There's a little icon where you can download sort of it's not an app as such, but it looks like an app, so you can have it just one click away on your either mobile desktop or your computer desktop.
Brilliant. Another one, how can support services, I know you alluded to this in the presentation, but how can support services be added to the website?
So if a support service themselves wants to contact us, there's a top right hand corner of the website, there's an add a service button where they can fill in, and it's quite a detailed form that they have to fill in, because we want to do all those sort of verification checks to make sure that it's sort of a valid service. But equally, we shared our contact details. We're very happy if you know about a service or you want to talk to us about a service, do just drop us an email, and we can take a look at that for you.
Great, thank you, Robin. I have a final question. How can we order leaflets and the toolkit?
Again, just drop me an email. It's Robin at Cancer Care Map or Paula at cancercaremap.org, and we can follow that out with you. The leaflets they're just a very sort of a simple bifold leaflet, and it kind of explains really about when support's available, because again, I think a lot of the time people are so overwhelmed at the start and they're told everything, and they're given this huge packs of information which just goes in a cupboard or in a corner and never gets looked at. And actually, while people are going through treatment, sometimes they are getting a lot of support and help through their hospital visits. Sometimes it's kind of when that treatment is paused or when the treatment comes to an end and they're trying to sort of go back to work and go back to some kind of normality, that's actually when support can really, really help. There's amazing organizations that will help with sort of going back to work or with dealing with sort of physical changes that happen during treatment and surgery. So our leaflet really sort of shows all the sort of breadth of information and when it's available that's out there. There's no kind of time frame. We had an inquiry the other day from someone saying that they got no support when their partner died, and they didn't have any of that bereavement support. And it's like, well, there's no time limit. You can still get help and support any time, further on down the line. It doesn't have to be, if you don't access it right at the time that your time's gone. It's reminding people to reach out and find that support when they need it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because support, it will change, I suppose, their needs throughout their diagnosis. Robin, yeah, just as well, so we will put the recording up of this on our website on the Cancer Cora section, and under that we'll have your contact details. So if anyone wants to reach out to you to get the leaflets and toolkits, they can do so through that, and we'll put a link to your website as well. Robin, I think it would be really useful for the last 5 minutes. I'll keep an eye on questions if they come in the meantime, but if you wouldn't mind doing a website demo just so we can see how the website works, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Share my screen. So hopefully, can you see this home screen there?
Yeah.
So this is our home screen. So the key thing is the search. We also got some support services pages where you can find, it's got some basic sort of information around emotional support, medical services, health and wellbeing, practical concerns, just to sort of help people get a bit of an understanding of the type of support that might be out there. So so the way the search works is it's very simple. We have in other iterations of the site had much more sort of drop down menus on the home page, but actually what we got from feedback was that, again, that can be quite overwhelming. And so actually what we wanted to do is just be able to put in a postcode. Let's just take this one here. So you can put in a postcode. You can just search for your postcode without putting any other information in. And what that does, hopefully the map will show. No, yes, no. You should get a map there. I think it's just because slow internet connection at my side, but it gives you a whole list of kind of services, and it automatically defaults by sort of distance to your postcode that tells you the kind of support that's available in your area. And then if you just click on a service, you get all the information is presented in a really clear way. So you get a little map that shows you exactly where it is. It gives you a bit of an overview of what, where, and who. Because again, it's really important to know straight away who the service is available, so you know whether it's suitable for you or not. And then quite simply the contact details and social media, so that you can sort of find out a bit more about that organization and click straight through. And what we try and do is just keep all this as sort of as clear and as simple and as accessible as we can. You can obviously, if we go back, you can include national services as well. So again, if we put in, let's put in, sorry, I'm typing with one hand because I've got covering from shoulder surgery. There we go. So if we put in pancreatic cancer and include national services, what you will get is you'll get the key national services related to pancreatic cancer that come up first as well, because again, they're quite often the most useful, and then it starts to do the sort of local services as well. So again, it's about, yes, so the map's now loading. So again, you can also just roll over the map and it will come up with all the different support services that are out there. You can really sort of hone it in, because we've got, if we take off national, we can hone it right in, so you can see exactly what's available around you. And yeah, and then you can also, yeah, it defaults by relevance, but you can then do it to distance as well. So that you get the kind of information you need. We've also got the blog page, which we demoed a bit. So again, this is about sort of surfacing information in a different way. So we do sort of spotlights on different areas, or we get guest blogs from different organisations to sort of explain and surface information in a different way. And again, it's about sort of making people aware of the kind of support that's available that they might not otherwise have thought about. I don't know, Paula, whether you've got anything to add that I've missed.
No, that's all good. I think what sets Cancer Care Map apart from any other the directories is that everything is updated every 2 to 3 months, and you will see one of those listings that Robin brought up. You will always get a date stamp, and I think that's so important to people to know that the information they're seeing is up to date, because there's nothing worse than sort of researching and then calling through to a number and it's no longer in existence. So I think that's key. And also on the blog page, Robin said we kind of do all kinds of information that we surface there. So if there's anything that you are promoting, any support groups, community campaigns, that we're more than happy to promote through our blogs and through our social media. So please do send us stuff. It's all about sharing that information and collaborating with organisations. So we're really open and welcome to receiving stuff like that. So, but yes, I think that was nothing else on the search there. I think that's good.
That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was really useful to just see the website in use. Just a question from my side. I thought the data trends was really interesting to have that information. And I was wondering, what are the most common support services that are searched on the website?
So it's around sort of breast cancer is always gets a lot of hits. And I think it's just because that sort of demographic of people affected by breast cancer are more likely to seek support and look for help. But health and well-being and emotional support, those are really, emotional support, counselling, those are always the key things. And we're able to say we're sort of developing our analytics and working with different trusts around the country to sort of come back to them to show whether sort of the local trends match the national trends. We've also started to do some work with some of the quality of life survey people to see whether their data is kind of matching up with ours in terms of finding out what are people's needs and wants.
That's brilliant. Another question that just came to mind when I was watching you share the resource was, is there a way of seeing what resources are free? Is there a way of seeing the difference between the paid
Yes,
resources?
you can. So yeah, when you get your search results, you can filter it out so that it only shows free to access services. And again, it's it's really important to offer choice. And I think Cancer Care Map can be very useful. Not just for as we said, not just for the patient themselves or for healthcare professionals, but also for friends and family who, if someone close to you has been diagnosed, you want to be able to do something useful, and actually Cancer Care Map can be a really good place to start to sort of help people understand the kind of support that might be available to them. Yeah,
I agree. Robin and Paula, thank you so much. That was a really great session. I just share this before we go. So just wanted to thank everyone for attending today's workshop, and I know I had mentioned it earlier, but all of our future events and workshop recordings, including this one, will be added onto the Irish and Britain website under the Cancer Cora events page section. And if you have any questions or feedback, please reach out to me. My email is help@irishandbritain.org. I will also share Paula and Robin's email on the Cancer Cora website tomorrow, if you'd like to get in touch with them. So that's all for me. Paul and Robin, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to have you.
Thank you. And so please don't hesitate to get in touch if we can help in any way. Just on the contact details that have been shared.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Great. Thank
you.
Have
a nice
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.